You might have clicked on this video because you're bored or you want a genuine guide over Archived. I'm here for you. There will be timestamps in the description so you can go where you want to progress on. Without further ado, let's get started. Upon joining the game, you're greeted with this menu where you have to select a slot. For the sake of this video, I'll make a new slot. Once you select it, click Send Invitation and wait a moment. When making a new slot, you're introduced to this screen. All you have to do is name your character, and for this, I'll name them as Zelda. Afterwards, you're introduced to this screen. Do not skip this part if you're new. This selects where you want to be as, a syndicate member or associate. Refer to this paper to pick what syndicate or association you want to be in. Though do beware that some syndicates don't appear here and requires you to join them later on. I'll pick corporate job, but you don't have to do what I do. Afterwards, you're introduced to this obby course that has no purpose to serve whatsoever, so I'll try to do my part and complete it. During this section, you're given a tutorial to most of the keybinds in this game, so I'll put them up here to not waste your time. Then you'll have to fight 3 rats, and pressing B is to execute them. After you beat them, you'll be given a book. Open it to get your first page. And once more, you have to complete an obby course. At the end, this guy can change your character's appearance for you. If you dislike it later on in the game, he'll be shown his location for a quest in this video. Once you're done, walk into the light. Once you're teleported, you're introduced to a prompt where you have to talk to the conductor. Please do this, or you're forced to teleport back here every time you die. Once you're finished talking to them, they give you a quest where you have to go to Sentenza. I'll show you the way there. Once you're here, talk to them. They'll give you a quest where you have to get rid of a distraction for them. Talk to this guy after you finish as they teleport you to the contracts you selected. Once teleported, go to the person who is causing the trouble and unlike me here, run away when you engage into a fight with them. You'll get the experience still. Once you're done, go back to Sentenza as she can grade you up. Afterwards, follow the arrow as it takes you to the Hana Association to take you to the evals. If you're a syndicate member, this is the way to your base to get your evaluations done. Once you're inside, head to the elevator to be teleported to your examiner. Grade up examinations change when you grade up, so it won't be the same each time. But for this video, I'll only show grade 9 and 8s and grades 3 to 1, as grades 7 to 4 are the same as you have to fight the same NPC. Once here, follow what I click on the screen. And congratulations, you're grade 8. And to go back to the city, interact with the elevator. Once you're back, go to Sentenza and pick Doc's Delivery as is the most quickest way to grade up. Then follow my exact route. Unlike me here, don't get confused and go back to Sentenza. The syndicate base has a contractor that you can drop it off to. Keep on doing this until you're grade 7. The grade 8 evaluation is going to be the same until grade 4, well they get a lower HP threshold where you have to hit in order to pass. Here's a contract guide to get to grade 3. However, there are more quicker ways to level up that I'll show after this. This is the Darius, your central hangout zone and home to most of the city quests around the map. Your first quest who will offer you a lot of EXP is E.G.O, whose questline is done by giving him 15 organs on the first quest, 15 coffees on the second, 5 golden bits is to send to a location I'll show later, 10 cooking quests is done, and finally meet him on top of a tower which will be shown soon. Talking to Vinny, he'll give you a quest where you have to go to the library to retrieve his friend, but don't go there yet, as this is for mid-game, but once you're mid-game, have friends or an office help you through it. Interacting with this guy will start a quest where you have to cook a spicy soup. If you don't know how, walk up to this lady and ask her for ingredients. Pick spices and a plate. Afterwards, go into the back and interact with this cooking pot to make your soup. Once done, return to him and he'll give you a lantern to use. Talking to this guy across from the dairies will start a quest for the barber who will unlock hair customization for you. All you have to do is go up to the barber and you're done. Next is the brawler quest. You need one organ from them which can be dropped by rats. Behind the Darius, there is a note on the wall. Interacting with it will start a quest. I'll save this for a video to show where all the locations are. To the corner side of the Darius, there is a news reporter. All you have to do is go to the Hana Association and grab files off a yellowish screen computer. I'll show where that's at. Afterwards, return to the guy and you will give EXP for completing it. Here is the rat quest that will be on the other corner side of the Darius, which will be a separate video for him. If you remember doing your duck's delivery quests, you might have recalled the tower. A person far from it will give you a quest to send a letter to someone. Afterwards, go back to the person and you're done. Next is the injured person quest, which you'll need to get a splint for them. And lastly is the Uria quest, which will be saved to grade up from 2 to 1. Now we can get into the big stuff, starting with Sin Affinities. Sin Affinities are like your skills and bonuses. They accord to what build you want to be. For example, Wrath is for Burn and Sloth is for Tremor. As you grade up, you unlock more points to put towards your character, capping at 45 while you have to do a quest known as the Old Fixer to cap at 50. If you're ever confused on what build you want to make, refer to the wiki or the Trello in the description. Next you got chips. Chips are an essential part of this game, but also very time consuming. If you collect chips early on in the game, store them on the bank slot so you can build your main slot. I'll show the way to the guy to put chips on you. Every chip does a different thing. Agility increases your dash speed, strength increases your max stamina by 5, vitality increases your max HP by 5, and endurance increases your RAM, but serves no purpose as of yet. In order to upgrade your chips, you'll have to collect 4 of them in the same tier in order to progress into Mark II and so on. For Mark IV, you'll need an uptide board for them, and that will be it. Traits are another talk to put here, as they're given to you randomly by grading up or by selecting a trait while using a golden bow. If you dislike your trait, follow my route to get it removed. You do need a sweeper field for this, which can be dropped by sweepers, which I'll get into in a moment. Finding those sweepers that spawn can give you sweeper fuel if you need it. However, there's a much more broad version that isn't locked by a closed door. Here is the guide that can get your traits and singularities done. Remember the first book that you got back in the tutorial? Yeah, pages can be saved. Upon opening a book while your moveset is full, they get stored. To access them, look for a bookshelf. These are all over the place and can be easily accessed to adjust your build. You can forget pages and cleanse your affinities here, but there's another miscellaneous feature that will be discussed later in this video. Night in the Backstreets is a world event that can happen of every odd hour of the day. It can also be forced if you have the Night in the Backstreets ticket if it's night in the world. During this period, sweepers spawn randomly trying to attack you. They aren't hard to fight unless you're dealing with a fucking brute. EXP gain is multiplied by 3 times during this event, but in exchange, once you die, you get wiped. So avoid this if you don't know what you're doing. The reason why this is in here is doing contracts with a high risk, high reward scenario. Other words, do not touch Night in the Backstreets if you're not good. By this point, libraries should be introduced. Libraries are a permadeath dungeon that can offer good loot in exchange of doing waves of enemies into a boss. However, the boss only spawns on Urban Nightmare and above, which is grade 2 level. Getting to the library requires an invitation which is dropped by rats or by the homeless guy across Everything Workshop. Refraction Railway is similar to the library but without permadeath and is endless. You'll need a ticket and talk to the conductor in order to start it. Every 5 stations there is a boss stage that you'll have to go through, which varies. It's good for cycling and challenging yourself, and the rewards are pretty solid. Warp Train is good for obtaining warp related pages in the class Bloodfiend. You can access it by being grade 3 and above, by talking to the Hana guy if you're an associate, or by the Blade Lineage captain if you're a syndicate. However, it is deemed permadeath, but you can't really get wiped if you die, which is odd. Now on to Bloodfiends. They are deemed a good race to use, though downsides are if you're Gen 3 or lower, if you get soaked in rain or water, you get paralyzed. You also have 40 less health of that of a grade 1. In exchange, you get stored blood, which at 4, you get more damage in order to take more damage. And at 6 stored blood and above, you'll get to heal 10 HP each time. Stored blood doesn't decay under 5, but can be removed if you take heavy damage in a single hit. Now I can give you a guide to the grade evaluations 3 to 1. Starting with the warm-hearted Woodsman, all you have to do is parry his swing. When his axe is in the air, just parry. When you see his eye charge and a shimmering sound play, parry. That's it. When you fight the Dream Devouring Siltcurrent, every time they go into the ground, run away, then wait for them to finish attacking. If they spew a beam of water at you, just parry. For nothing there, he has plenty full of attacks. If he jumps into the air, an indicator on top of your head turns red. Press parry when you do so. If he starts doing this weird side dash animation at you, wait until the red indicator to appear, then parry. If he curls like this, run away as he will barrage you. The parrying is a bit wonky to demonstrate how to do it properly, blame DARILLU. If he does 3 M1s then held his hand into a ball while saying "Hello?", parry a quarter of a second after he says it. If he does the same 3 M1s but this time he has his weird charge up and a knife appears, you'll hear "Goodbye." Make sure you parry after he finished saying it. Congratulations, you're grade 1. Now what is there to do? Well, if you stayed on your default weapon since grade 9, you can go to Everything Workshop to craft a handful of weapons. I'll show you the location. I'll show you where you can get your own outfit. One gives you fabrics while the other one gives you outfits to craft. So you probably went from this to this, but I'm staying like this. Oh, I almost forgot, E.G.Os and Singularities. To obtain E.G.O, you have to eat seeds of lights or burn books, as this raises your E.G.O manifestation. You can check with this guy in the subway by clicking how close am I to reaching my full potential. If it says what it showed me, you met it. Once it has been met, a fancy dialogue on your character will play every time you spawn in a permadeath server, even libraries. If you get knocked, press I don't need your help, and now you have E.G.O. Singularities are a tough topic to uncover since they can be crafted or obtained by an extremely small chance while doing contracts or dungeons. Once obtained, they stick to your character until you get wiped in a permadeath server. Libraries void them upon death since you can't get knocked. Singularities can be good if you're handling boss fights or for fun, but they're not always a must-have, so take your time getting this. And now welcome to the Miscellaneous section, where I'll tell you the stuff that you can go for at any time. Let's start with Shin and Mang. Shin and Mang can be obtained by using fixer nodes, or by beating the old fixer. I'll show the old fixer's location, but do be wary as you need 75% of quests done, 15 people killed, and be in a permadeath server in order to talk to them. Once you do need to fight them in that permadeath server. Fixer node locations won't be shown in this video, however, the wiki shows all the locations for a traveling partner to get fixer nodes. You can also fight the overconfident fixer who spawns every millennium, which is too long compared to the other methods. Unlocking Shin and Mang, you'll have to get to a HP threshold, which I'll list the chances on the screen. Next is Lunacy. Lunacy is a currency that goes across all slots and can't be dropped or picked up. How to obtain it is by doing buff libraries or by wiping yourself. Depending on how much you achieved on your slot is the amount you would get. With Lunacy, you can buy character upgrades which goes across all slots. If you ever get an injury inflicted on you, don't worry, talking to a doctor can remove them for the low cost of 500k on. However, if you're in a dungeon, bring splints and K-Corp ampios with you. I'll list all the injuries you can get and what can remove them. If you made it as far or skipped ahead, congratulations, you'll hear my biggest tips when learning the game. 1. Join offices. If you're in an archive Discord, there's a place that advertises offices. Always tend to join one since they can help you with plentiful of things, even the combat. 2. Make sure you stay out of Permadeath. Permadeath today isn't a solo one stand, as there's plenty of gankers who try claiming rank. If you ever get crowded by a bunch of people, you don't have to fight back. If you have to run to save your life, do so. 3. Wipe a slot that you don't use. I know this might sound crazy, but you can unlock 3 achievements which can help you boost your main slots. Though that slot that you wiped has to be grade 3 or higher. 4. Explore. There's a lot of stuff that I left out on this video which I decided to make the important ones seeable. Always tend to explore. The game isn't big as you expected, so always make room to suit yourself. If you like this video, please subscribe. It took a long time trying to make this and old guides kinda got outdated, so I hope I made some good use. And once more, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.